Hello, everybody. Natalie here from Up Your Brave, and today I'm talking to Tanya Hunter, and we are going to be talking about amplifying your impact through networking. How are you, Tanya? How's Kapiti?
Oh, it's kind of all right, actually. It's not as cold as it has been, but it's such a beautiful place. It's meant to be the most sunniest or the sunniest place, in this region, but not so much lately. But
I
hey,
can
it's
see
all
the sun
right.
streaming in. I can see it.
All
So
right,
this
it's
is
all
a
right.
conscious conversation, so not necessarily an interview, but we're just going to chat about the concept of amplifying your impact. I can talk about what that means to me. And we both of us are running Empowered Connections clubs. So for those of you watching live or later, you may not know that one of the things we've been doing over the past couple years is bringing people together. And the phrase we use is heart-centered entrepreneurs, mainly women, although men are welcome. And what I've noticed in the almost 4 years that my club's been going is massive friendships forming, like real genuine connections and business expansion through this very comfortable bringing together of people. So I guess my first kind of let's throw it in. What does amplify your impact mean to you in this context of networking and bringing people together?
Well, the interesting thing is because I'm, very spiritual, and that's the basis of what I do and the basis of the foundation for the club that I hold or the networking group that I hold. That most of the women that come in, they're not just heart led, but they're also soul led. So a
Mm,
lot of them are soulpreneurs, or they are very spiritual in the way that they run their business. And so what I find that is it's their purpose, their soul essence that is driving the impact. And that's actually something that we talked about in our last session was around what kind of impact do you want to make in terms
mhm.
of, who you are and what does that look like. And it's it's really interesting how in the old way of running businesses was always about money, creating a structure around money. And now we can come at actually from a place of complete authenticity where we're sharing something because we love it. And the beautiful bonus and extension of that is abundance. Right. So I mean that's the way I see it and how I see the group as well, the beautiful group of women that I have. Mostly actually it's all women really. Let's be real. You say heart centered and soul led, and a lot of men go, oh, well, that's not me, and so we've tended to not have men come in.
Well, I have one great man, and his name is Herman Petrick, and he helps people primarily with sleep, but around psychic attacks and things like that. And he's super, he's kind of ex-corporate, like a lot of spiritual people are. They used to be in the corporate world and then they let their spiritual side come out. And he loves the club, and so do the other women. And I had someone else come the other day. So we have people come as guests. And I think the phrase we use is first time free, just to see if energetically it's a match and it feels right. And I
Mhm.
said to this woman, you're either gonna love it or you're gonna feel like you're just gonna bounce. You're gonna be like, no, this is not for me.
Yeah.
And she was kind of corporate-ish, but she's got this spiritual side of her. She's got this other business that she doesn't really talk about. And I said, this is the place where
Yeah.
you can really just feel at home. And it's like, like these are my people. I feel like I can just be myself and I can talk about more of the spiritual or holistic viewpoint on things and be right at home. So I find that people, when they arrive, they kind of go, oh my gosh, I found my people. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's the thing. I think you need to be surrounded by your people. You need to be comfortable enough to be actually yourself and not feel like you have to act in a certain behavioral way. And here's my business card and everything's shiny and amazing. No, you need to show up, like you said, authentically as yourself. And that, I think, is the key to being able to therefore amplify your impact through being who you truly are, other people seeing that, other people celebrating that,
Mhm.
and radiating that or telling other people about it. So it's not like you said, it's not like old school networking about like referrals and business cards, although I do love a good business card. It's just a different energy. And that's kind of what we're encouraging. And this is the new way to network.
Yes. But organically, the referrals just happen anyway, which I find it's organic, right? We don't have to ask or
Promise or
yes, yes. It doesn't have to be. a big thing. But you know, something that I've noticed when you talked about tribe, you know, like we've found our people. You know, I find that a lot of the women that come in is they have been searching for the right group because
Mm.
a lot of, you know, especially as spiritual businesswomen, it's really hard to kind of fit into a particular group, you know, who really encompass everything, all our values and everything that we hold important to us. So that's something that I've definitely found with this group. So if they come, they'll stay, you know, and they'll love it. And something else I noticed too, you know, you also talked about the realness. Let's talk about that because it's it's been really interesting. The women that come love the real connection. They love knowing that they can meet in person, that it's not on Zoom. You know, there's so many things online, and they just love that they can come, they can land and breathe and just kind of connect with like-minded women. And I love that they feel safe enough to feel like that, you know, to come and just land and be themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. Actually, shout out to all the women that are in the group, and maybe what we can do is tag them in a comment or something, and then people can follow them. That's one way to amplify their impact is to simply follow them or go and comment on one of their posts or something like that. Connect with them. I often find that, you know, what I love that when you feel like you know someone because you've been friends online or you've messaged, but you've never actually met, and then they get that chance to walk into the room and they're like, oh my gosh, and they're meeting for the first time in real life. And one of my taglines, of course, is connecting real people in real time. And that is what people are craving. That's what they love. And things can happen so much faster, I think, when you get to actually, you know, hug someone or sit beside them and see them kind of semi regularly. You know, we meet every 2 weeks, so it's enough. What I found as a business owner, we tend to see what works and change things up. And with this club, it's always been fortnightly, and I feel like it is like once a month would not be enough. Weekly almost comes around too quickly, and so yeah, the once every fortnight for a power hour of connection is magic.
Yeah, they're usually ready to go at the hour because they've got other things to do. You know, life is busy for anyone, but particularly for a businesswoman when they have calls and meetings and things. So yeah, it's really good to know that it's just an hour and then they can leave.
I like to buffer in time for like a beach walk for myself because that soothes my
Oh,
soul.
that's such a great idea. I should do that. I
Well,
love
do you
that
guys have a
idea.
beach nearby for
Yeah,
yours?
yeah, we're right across the road from the
Nice.
beach. So in the summer, we plan on sitting in the sand, you know, sitting
In
at the
my
beach.
calendar, I literally go buffer. Like I block it out so that nobody books anything so that I can have my beach time, which is usually a walk and talk with somebody else, right? So I
Yeah.
love that experience of being able to, for those of you that need to go, always finish on time, right? Respecting them. And then for anyone that wants to linger, or have a beach walk or maybe go for lunch, you know, and then we can kind of stretch it out if we need to, but no one feels like we're sitting there and it's, you know, an hour and a half goes past and we're still there. No, we do the power hour. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah,
So
well,
good.
we often sit and chat or have lunch, which is really nice. But going for a walk's a great idea. Need to do that.
Yes. So for those of you watching, and maybe what does amplify your impact look like to you in your business? You can comment. I would love to come back and read some of the comments. Like, for example, if you were to truly up your brave, which means be courageous, do that thing in your business at the moment that would amplify your impact, what would that be? For me at the moment, it's actually looking at trimming something back instead of starting something new, which is a scary concept for me because I love starting something new. So it doesn't always have to be launching that thing or starting that podcast or writing that book. It doesn't always have to be so bold. It could be, but what is the thing that is sitting there for you that would actually amplify your impact? Maybe it's like finally hiring a coach, or maybe you've had a coach before and you haven't had one for a few years, or putting some money into PR or marketing. What is the thing? Comment. We would love to see. Tanya, what is the thing for you?
Well, the thing is, what I've actually just done is spending the money in myself in an amazing marketing coach. Shout out to Haley. She is incredible. If anybody wants a fantastic marketing coach, she does everything and she is just, yeah, she's like my little magic fairy. Yeah, I can just comment below and I can send you her details. So yeah, it's literally that. It's actually spending the money. It's been something that I haven't done willingly for a long time now, and I know that I need to do it. And it's also actually putting myself out there. I'm sponsoring the New Zealand Small Businesswomen's Awards in October, and so I'll be presenting at the award for Against All Odds. And that was another big deal for me too, because it was, obviously spending more money and
Mm-hmm.
putting myself out there. So it was
Mm-hmm.
all these things that I'm not used to, putting myself out there literally in a room with 120 women speaking. And so that's, even though I'm comfortable speaking online, this is a whole different level. So yeah, definitely upping my brave there.
Those are two really amazing examples, and that gives people ideas about different ways that they can amplify their impact.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
let's talk a little bit. We're just going to wrap it up because we'll keep it short and sweet. But what else? Like, what are you up to in your business? You mentioned it was spiritual. What is the thing that you mainly help people with?
I have two businesses. I have Soul Academy, which I've been doing in person for close to 30 years, and I took it online a few years ago. And so I really support women to come back to themselves, to remember their spiritual and psychic gifts. And a lot of things that women, they come to me for is they want to learn to be psychic. And the interesting thing is that they don't realize that they're already psychic. Every woman is psychic. What's blocking it is the conditioned patterns, the trauma, the limiting stories, all of the conditions and patterns that you have been running all your life, and it blocks it. And so what I do is I really just encourage you to notice those and release them, so that then beautifully there is your psychic abilities, your gifts naturally sitting there ready for you to see them. And so a lot of women um, dive in and love to go through this process, because on the other side you start to learn who you really are underneath all the conditioning that the ego has closed or placed on you all your life. So yeah, I do that. So I do that through a couple of different avenues. But I also have um, I have another business, Kids Dream Space, and at the moment we're running parent trials. So if you're interested, what it is we really help bring out children's uniqueness and help them to learn to believe in themselves again. And through their uniqueness, they find something that they're passionate about, and we're really teaching them the foundational life skill of all, and that's really the how to make a dream come true. So we're running, as I said, we're running parent trials at the moment, and in exchange for feedback and testimonials. So if you have a child between 6 and 12, and you'd love to know more about those trials, we've only got 10 spots available. We've got 5 gone. So yeah, get in touch.
Oh,
And
amazing. Well, we'll put your link below, shall we? We'll add the
that's
link
great.
somewhere. Speaking of amplify your impact, so for me, and I interviewed you on Reality Check Radio, so we'll put that link below as well for people. One amazing way that people can amplify their impact in their business is podcast guesting, going on somebody else's show, and having a chance to answer questions, which is, I know, exciting and intimidating for people. And it's something like, not always, a 40-minute, 20-minute, 1 hour opportunity. So that would be my kind of suggestion. It's not a new suggestion, but it is something that, especially in this day and age, where speaking on stage is great, but podcasting is so accessible. And you can really, depending on if you've got international audience for your business or more of a nationwide New Zealand base, there's always a podcast that you can get on. I actually help people. One of the things my favorite things to do is coach people on how to be a great guest, because there's many things that make you a not great guest that you don't want to do. So some of the classic, 6 mistakes you don't want to make. So that
I
is
need
something I'd love.
need to see you. I'm actually going to be on someone's podcast soon. So I need to see
Yes,
you.
it's so important because this is a golden opportunity to share
Mm,
the story, to share your wisdom with the world, and to let it pass you by. And I'm talking about the actual recording as well as pre and post, which means before and after the recording. So there's many, many things you can do to make the most of it and to really amplify your impact. So that would be my top tip for people is to consider guesting on a podcast. I'm not saying start
mm,
your own podcast because that's a whole nother topic and it's a whole nother level of commitment and skill. But being a guest and being a great guest is one of the
mm,
best ways to amplify your impact.
There's a lot of groups on Facebook around being a guest on podcasts. So if you want to, just search it and you'll find so many of them come up.
Yeah, but you want to be a
Lots of
great, great,
opportunities.
great guest. You don't just want to jump on there. Amazing. So we can find Tanya, your Soul Academy, and you can find me at Up Your Brave. We'll see you guys on the socials and maybe on the website. But if you are in these areas, Kapiti for Tanya's group, and for me, it's in Auckland. My group, my Empowered Connections group, is at Mission Bay. However, people come from far and wide. They come from like Titirangi and Caracas. So it's a really amazing group. Both of them are heart-centered women and a few men. And you
Mm.
just walk in and you think, these are my people, and I can be myself, and I can be authentic, and I can amplify my impact.
I love the beautiful ladies in my group. It's great. They're beautiful.
And we sure do. So good. All right,
Mm.
everyone, have an amazing day, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.